MTHFR, methylene tetrahydrofolate reductase. MTHFR has become this newest rage, this newest trend, especially in our Los Angeles holistic community, but also in a lot of communities around the country and probably around the world. And it's not to say that MTHFR is not important. It's actually very important. MTHFR is basically our body's oil pump. And the methyl groups that MTHFR and similar genes produce are the oil that lubricate. They help everything flow more easily, more smoothly. They help enzymes work more efficiently. And MTHFR and the methylation genes can impact SAMe levels, which can ultimately impact detoxification. So that piece is there. MTHFR through the methyl groups that it produces also ultimately impact brain chemistry. So dopamine, epinephrine, norepinephrine, serotonin, all of these compounds, these important brain chemicals ultimately need methyl groups to get into the brain to actually cause a chain reaction of events that ultimately helps produce serotonin and all of these other chemicals. And when MTHFR is there and you don't know it's there, when it hasn't been treated, the oil pump in the car doesn't work well. So you literally feel just sluggish, things aren't working, detox is a little off, you're just tired, you just feel depressed. Except it's not depression, it's a methylation error. And I can speak to this because I have this. I have a homozygous major mutation that actually significantly impacts my ability to methylate. And 12 years ago, when I found out about this, I checked my levels and my homocysteine levels were 16. For those of you that know, that's a really big mess. My system was in a really big mess. So I found this information. I'm like, oh my God, this is going to fix my depression. This is going to help relieve my anxiety. I'm finally going to have the energy I want. I'm finally going to have the health that I want. So I started injecting myself with B12 in the shoulder. And I also started taking huge doses of methylfolate, 5 milligrams per day, 5,000 micrograms per day. And I did this. And then I waited a few weeks. I'm like, I don't feel much different. Except I was starting to have anxiety, like intense anxiety. I had anxiety at the time, but I started having panic attacks. And I started feeling really anxious. And I'm like, what is going on? And around that time, in working in a clinic where I was serving a very large, wide range of people, from adults with lupus and rheumatoid arthritis to Crohn's disease to kids with autism, kids with ADHD, I was really trying to help as many people as I could. And so as I found out about this, I started offering this to my patients. And I was telling them like, hey, here are the benefits, here are the risks. If you want to do it, I'm happy to support you. It may help you. So I had at least 20 patients that were totally happy to sign on board. And what was really interesting is I thought, oh my God, I'm going to fix their oil pump. I'm going to fix these things and their lupus is going to go away, or this is going to go away. Oh my God, maybe I can fix this kid's autism. Oh my God, how cool would that be? Except maybe 10% of the time I was actually able to see a difference. The parents are like, yeah, things are a little better. Autism isn't gone. Oh, my lupus is the same. So this miraculous thing that I was hoping to see in myself or my patients actually didn't manifest. And in fact, about a quarter of my patients are like, yeah, he's starting to kind of have some major tantrums. Is that expected? Oh, he's having trouble sleeping. Oh, well, I just don't feel well. And I'm like, oh, shoot. While a little bit of a good thing is a good thing, a lot of the good thing is not always a good thing. And it turns out that when you kick your oil pump into overdrive, what happens? It starts flooding the system with oil. And that actually starts driving certain enzymatic pathways a little too fast. And for some people like me, when that happens, you start getting a influx, an overflow of dopamine and serotonin and epinephrine, and you actually start having panic attacks. And this is one of the things that I hope we can realize, that, you know what, MTHFR is important. There's no question about it. And if you suspect that it's there, just supplement. Take a multivitamin that has some folate and B12, and any good multivitamin that has methylfolate and methyl B12 will cover you. We only need 100 micrograms of methylfolate per day for kids. You need maybe 300 micrograms of methylfolate per day for adults. And sometimes that's even too much. I take 1 milligram of methylfolate literally once a week, maybe twice a week, and that is all I need to have my body be really balanced. But I think the other part of this discussion we have to realize is that there's potential for harm if we take a conversation that has validity and say, oh, this can fix everything for everyone. How can fixing the oil pump in the car fix everything in the car? Does that even make sense? If the engine is broken, fixing the oil pump doesn't fix the engine. If the transmission is shot, fixing the oil pump doesn't fix the transmission. The body is beautifully intricate and complex. And when we understand that complexity, we realize that methylation is one piece to this bigger pie, to this bigger picture. And it's important to understand all parts of this picture and say, oh, no, the engine is what's shot. Let's fix the engine. Let's make sure the oil pump works well. Multivitamin, methylfolate, easy. You don't need to do gene testing to be like, oh, maybe I should just help the oil pump run well. And in fact, we may find that this gene testing frenzy that we have is not such a smart idea. That sometimes it can give beautiful understanding. And I'm not saying it shouldn't be used, but it should be used methodically with actual consideration rather than let's just do a shotgun and see if we find something. And certainly, because these mutations are there, doesn't mean that everything is potentially going to be a problem. I have so many parents reach out, they're like, oh my God, my kid has MTHFR. Are they going to become autistic? Or is this going to happen to them? Talk to any smart geneticist out there. And they'll tell you, no, there's no way one gene can do everything for everyone. One system cannot cause problems for everyone in every time. And these are the conversations we need to be having, because on one hand, the conversations that drive awareness are important. And if your kid has anxiety or ADHD, give them a multivitamin. What's the harm in a multivitamin that has folate and B12? And you know what? Sometimes that multivitamin is enough to help them feel better. If you're an adult who has serious fatigue and you feel depressed and you're run down, take a B complex that has methylfolate and methyl B12 along with B6 and other things. And if you feel a difference in a few weeks, great. And if you don't, there was no harm. But this is the way we need to start looking at things. And rather than obsessing with one thing and saying, oh my God, if I fix this, everything's going to be fixed. And oh my God, I've got to worry. No. I'm so grateful that you're a part of this community and for us to be having these discussions to help alleviate concern, bring awareness, and ultimately create a conversation that can help all kids thrive, because that's what this is all about, right? Helping all kids and their families thrive. So I'm thankful for you that you're a part of this discussion, and together we're talking about these things and just sharing this information into the world to make the world a better place. So with that, I thank you for watching. This is Dr. K. Be well.